Ray, uh, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
I know you say you're a busy man. You just got out from the gym.
Yeah, I had a long session just to work out, enjoy Good Friday, get fit.
Dude, I wish I could get like into the gym, but I just cannot, man.
I mean, it takes a little bit of time. Just you start small, and then eventually, you grow into it little by little. Like you start going there every day, see the results.
Do you go every day?
I try to, build like a routine so like I can like be committed to like going at least 5 6 times a day. I mean 5 6 times a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my neighbor David, he's always trying to get me to go to the gym, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna pass. But I should go. I should probably go.
Yeah, I always try to encourage people, like just like it's good for the health. Just like it gives you some kind of like structure, some like discipline. Just like it just like puts your mind at ease. Like when you're there, like you're just focused all the time on something.
Yeah, no, for sure. Health wise, the gym is definitely something that I need to do. But I usually try and just like go running or like play basketball. I move a lot. I'm always all around the city, so it's kind of like all right. And I try to eat healthy for the most part, so it's kind of like the only missing piece is the gym. But maybe one of these days.
I'm in the same position as you. Just especially the running, like the fitness. I like for me, I like staying active, being productive.
Yeah,
Like I'm I'm just like a busy like body. I can't just stand around, just do nothing. So whatever is
yeah,
like exercise, sports, just like if I'm having fun doing it, then I'm going my way just to do it.
yeah, dude. I'm the same way. Before we go any further, though, do you wanna do me a favor and introduce yourself?
So my name is Ray Alvarez, and I'm from Manhattan, New York. I've been living here my entire life. I'm 26 years old. Um, how would I introduce myself?
Isn't that always tricky when
Good
you gotta
question.
like introduce yourself like just randomly like that?
Yeah. Um,
Well, I met you at doing archery,
yes.
and dude, I don't know about you, but archery is a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. You archery is like that one sport. Like you just like laser focused on this one thing. It's like just building suspense around like what you're doing, just to like hit the target, hit it, that's it on.
So, what actually got you into archery?
So what got me into archery, um, well, to start off, it was something I never heard about before. Um, Basically, like a long time ago, like when I was working, I was supposed to go on vacation, and I needed to like find something to do, just like an activity. So I was like searching just for things to do around in my area, any hobby, sports, just anything for fun. And I stumbled across archery. It was on probably Instagram or Google. So I decided to give it a shot. Why not? Something new. So I booked an appointment for the introductory class where they teach you the ins and out of how to properly use the weapon. Well, the bow's a weapon. How to properly
Yeah.
use it, how not to use it. So that's basically where I learned, and how I got into archery.
What was like for you? What was the hardest part of actually like getting into archery, or was it just like a smooth transition into like, oh, this is cool. I'll keep doing it.
Um, I would say probably the hardest thing was just like keeping the correct form and just like drawing back, because when I first did it, I was kind of hesitant because like of all the steps that you have to follow and do,
Mm,
especially like the string touching your face with a live arrow. I was kind of nervous. Like I didn't want that thing to like mess with my face or like injure me when I'm pulling
right.
it back and then releasing that thing. So I was kind of like scared to like actually fire something like that. So I didn't know how what was gonna happen. But as time went on, you get amazing instructors telling to like be at ease, be calm, and like nothing will happen.
Yeah, quick shout out to Gotham Archery, especially the location in Brooklyn, because those
Oh
people are
yes.
amazing, man. And they'll work with you and they'll watch you and they'll adjust your bow and they do everything in their power to kind of like help you out, you know?
Oh yeah. It's that's what I love about them. Cause like, they take your time to like explain things. They don't rush through it. They feel that you need more time or like practice. They're there to help you and they'll guide you like the step by step process to make you a better archer.
Yeah, and I was kind of like putting on Instagram kind of like my progress of kind of doing that summer league that we did.
Oh yes.
And I mean, for me, like the first time I did archery was a couple years back when I lived in North Carolina. A buddy of mine brought a bow and arrow to my house. We just went out to my backyard, started shooting a little bag thing that they have, and honestly, it came pretty easy to me. But of course, he had like a nice bow. He had like the little trigger release thing, compound bow, and it was just like a lot of fun, right? We just had a lot of fun, and we did it for like a couple of hours. And by the end of it, my arms were kind of tired, and I was like loading a, I was loading an arrow, and I did what you shouldn't do, and like pointed up, and then pull the string back, and because I was so tired, like halfway through, I accidentally hit the release button, and that arrow shot straight into the air. And as far as I know, it landed on someone's head.
Oh God.
Like it just
I know
went,
you ran for your life.
dude. It just went, and we're like, where the fuck did it go?
It's like you playing that game. I spy a plane or bird in the sky, like trying to figure out what it was, like or where it
Right?
went.
It's like fuck that. No, but I mean, we like obviously I don't think anybody got hurt, but we were like, man, I'm sure some cat out there just got shot by an arrow. But
Oh yeah,
um,
the best.
no, but I mean that was ages ago. And then yeah, I stumbled across like similar to you. I think it was a Instagram post where they were like, "Oh, there's a summer league of archery," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I haven't done that in ages. Let me see if I can like join this real quick." Um, and dude, I went in there kind of cocky because I was like, "Man, when I did it a
Oh,
couple
it's like
years
same thing.
ago." I was like, when I did it a couple years ago, I was pretty good, so I should come in here and kick some ass. But nah, it ain't like that.
That was my first thought. I was like, I feel like it wasn't gonna be about like a bunch of like pro people, but like people who put the time to like really practice. And I thought it was gonna be like, you know, some teenagers or just some like little kids just trying to like do it for fun. But then I get there and I see like the people we have now. I'm like, oh damn, they've been practicing. Like,
Yeah, and the bows that they have, I mean, I refuse to Google to see how much they cost because I mean, those are some serious bows.
like they put all that money into it, all that equipment. I'm like, all right, these guys are serious. So I was like, I'm probably gonna be last in like something.
Yeah, well, I think I actually came in last because I'll tell you what, man. So, one, that was my first time doing it since a couple years ago, right? Where I only did it for like 2 hours. So I had
Yeah.
2 hours in my entire life shooting a bow. And then I show up here years later thinking that I'm going to do like pretty decent. And I am literally the newest person to do that shit, like out of everyone. And then you add the difficulty of of renting a bow instead of having your own bow. I think that was the most frustrating part for me is all of the adjustments you have to make every single time you like show up when you rent a bow.
Oh yeah. Cause like it's like so you have to get adjusted to something new every weekend on top of that. Plus shooting from where you are. It's like you don't know if you're making progress because like it's like every little thing, like you're tweaking something every other time. So you're trying to like fit all that into like I don't say like you're just trying to like piece together everything to make everything work.
Yeah, and then when I saw you get your own bow, I was like, damn, do I want to do that? But I think you do not regret that at all.
Oh, I love my bow. I love using that. I did want to customize at one point or like change it up, but I'm still learning it, like how to use it properly because it takes time to like master like something new like that, especially a bow.
Yeah, and there's so many like things, right? So like, I mean, you're left-handed, I'm right-handed, but basically the hand that's not pulling on a string, you can't you can't just grab onto it hard, right? But you also can't just let it go either. It's such a balance of holding it, but then also letting the recoil kind of like do its thing.
Yeah, I've actually learned. I think somebody over there told me that the reason why holding onto it with your fingers is a bad idea is because like over time you're gonna damage your nerves in your fingers because of all that tension. You're pulling it back and resting and holding it. So
Damn.
that's why you're like you have to like buy the equipment to like the releases to help you better because like when you're doing that, it's holding it for you. You're not putting all that pressure onto like your body. So it helps you in the long run.
Damn, I did not know that. I didn't know it would like hurt your nerves and shit.
Yeah, because like it's like you're bending your fingers around that string for a few seconds, maybe even longer, depending on how long you hold it. You can keep it steady. Plus the weight of the bow, like you're doing all that pulling back. So by the end of it, you're gonna come out or disfigured and everything. Like
You're just not gonna be able to hold a piece of paper.
you're right. Your hand gonna be closed, like trying to like cripple. Like what did I go wrong? Like
Right. No, I think, and I think the other part that I struggled with a lot was drawing back on the bow with my fingers. So, like I said, that first time that I ever used a bow, uh, Robbie had like a little clip, and I think you have it too, right? So you just kind of click it, pull back, and then when you want to release, you just click on something, and it releases it.
yeah, well, when I supposed to click it, it's supposed to like just pull it back a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like it's almost, well, I've seen different styles, but it's almost like a trigger, right? Like a gun trigger,
Yeah,
and you just pull on it like you're shooting, and it literally just releases it.
yeah,
And the whole time, they actually asked me, like, they were like, "Hey, do you want to use one?" And I said no, just because I was like, "All right, let me see what it's like just using fingers, right?" I don't regret it, but damn, it just makes it so much more difficult because at that point, it's not shooting a gun where you just kind of trigger it, but rather you're telling your three fingers to let go at the same time without hesitation, right? Because if you're like hesitant or you're scared or anything else, one finger may not release with the others and then it'll just throw everything off.
yeah. And are you like hesitant sometimes? Because like sometimes I would be hesitant to like release the hand. I don't know if you felt the same way when you was like releasing.
I think the only times I was really hesitant was when the string would slap my arm.
Oh yeah,
So it's so funny how your brain automatically learns that, oh shit, that hurt. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. And I think it was like week 5 or 6 of the league where I finally got my first slap, and I released it, and I shot, and it hit my left arm. The string hits my left arm. And I'm like, oh fuck, like that hurt. And my very next shot, I could tell that when I released, I moved my arm just to like prevent it from slapping me again. And I'm just like, shit, like that, like anything, like the slightest move will like mess up your shot.
yeah. And that string is heavy and it hurts. Like it stings. Like you're gonna feel that for like minutes afterwards. It's like, damn, I should have wore some protective gear, like something like some extra layers.
Has a string hit you?
Like a lot of times,
Really?
I even tried like even when I didn't feel like so even when I didn't get hit, I would like try to take it off. So I feel like I didn't need it. But a few rounds later, I hit myself. I'm like, okay, that actually stings. That hurts. And I had to like adjust it. So it's like, all right, I ain't gonna let this happen no more. Like, I
Yeah.
don't just like
I don't even understand how it actually hits you, right? Because technically, like the string should go straight. I don't think your arm is in the way, right? So something's going on where it just kind of like slaps you.
I think it's like extending your arm inwards towards the bow. It's like I think it's just different from like the way everybody holds it in,
Mm.
and so also has to do with your form. So like, or anybody's form, just like if you how much pressure you're putting into it. So that's why it's probably hitting it. So it's like that string just like wobbling back and forth after
Yeah.
it's shot.
Yeah, because I had seen people like get stung, and I mean, week after week after week after week, I was lucky. I was like, it's not hitting me, you know? Like, I don't know what they're doing. And then finally, like, on the second half of the season, it finally hits me and immediately just messes up my next shot, right? Because I'm like, my brain, without me even telling it to, is trying to avoid that string. Have you ever gone to a shooting range, like with a gun?
Yes. I have once. They only have one here in New York, um, which is all the way in Sixth Avenue.
Mm,
But when I went there, I was only able to shoot a 22 caliber rifle, which is the only thing they had at the time.
mm.
Because you need a license to practically shoot anything nowadays.
Not a bow and arrow.
Yeah, except for that. Thank God. Yeah, at that range, I think it was just the rifle and the pistol that they had. But I did all right with that rifle.
Yeah, I actually went and shot a pistol a couple of weekends ago. Maybe it was a weekend ago. I don't know. Time flies by. And yeah, I mean, the first shot, I'm like, all right, I know it's gonna recoil, right? I need to prepare. I need to prepare for this, right? So I'm holding the gun as strongly and as steady as I can, and I shoot. And when you shoot, you finally feel the recoil, right? Like the actual recoil. And again, your brain, or my brain at least, immediately goes like, "Oh, that's danger. That's danger. Don't do it." And then I'm like a little bit more hesitant to pull the trigger on the next shot, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's, I don't know. The brain is just weird. I mean, it's wired to protect you, right? And so I guess you just need a lot of practice to override your natural instinct of like, "Yo, do not do this."
Yeah, it's like all that stuff is kicking in, the adrenaline. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, you're having fun. It's like once that those shots go off, it's like, damn, it felt amazing. Like I want to keep doing it. Like
Yep, and with like when I was shooting the bow and arrow all season long, at no point did I'm like feel fear or like should I not, other than slapping my arm with the string, that shit hurt. But with the gun, I mean, every single shot, I'm like, I have to like tell my brain it's okay, pull the trigger. Um, but like you said, by the end of it, I was like, yo, I want to keep shooting. Like this is fun.
oh yeah, that's yeah. I would practice every weekend just to like get my scores up. Because at the beginning, it was horrible. Like I would see everybody like do so much better than me. I was like, damn. I was like kind of discouraged. I was like, I know I can do better,
Mm-hmm.
but I got to put more time in, like more practice to do so. So over time, I did that, and towards like the final few weeks, my score kept increasing, and I was like really happy. I was like, all right, I'm making progress.
I think I think that was the toughest part for me, is mentally knowing that I can do better while fighting with a renter's bow that was always different. I think there were like 3 weeks in a row where I had the same bow was like a green bow with like an all black string. Um, but other than that, every single other week it was like a different bow, and some of them you can tell are run down and just beat up because halfway through the string where you kind of like pull back, the little grips, they will keep sliding up. And I'm just like, all right, let me slide them back down, because as soon as they slide up, then all of a sudden your bow starts to shoot down, right? And it was just honestly incredibly frustrating. Um, so my scores were never like, oh, you're steadily improving. No, it was like, all right, this week I did good. Next week it was okay. The next week I did bad. The next week really good. And it's like, damn, man, like if I had my own bow, I know I could have like steadily increased, kind of like you did, right? And I'm sure that felt rewarding as fuck.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause like you mentioned, it was like every time I go into the range, and I'll especially look at the rented bow, and like they're just like so small, and like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, just the way they look. They look like a toy. They look like a toy bow. I was like, yo, they look like some discounted like weapons, like you get from like Toys R Us or something. Like they look cheap as hell. Like like nothing you could shoot with compared to like everybody else's. Like
Oh
I said, this
yeah.
is what we're using. I was like, all right.
Yeah, compared to everybody else, I mean, yeah, it's a joke, right? Like that it's I mean, it does the trick, right? Like once you if you adjust it and you get one that's not too old and beat up, it'll do the trick. But you cannot compare it to those $1,000, $2,000 bows that you would see over there.
Oh yeah.
But
Next thing you know, you're gonna spend like hours and hours just adjusting one small toy bow. By that time, you could have just had your own.
no, yeah, I'm trying to save a little bit of money right now, and I do want to get one. I think if I do get one, I'll get one like, Black Friday or something. Like I'm sure they'll have a deal at Gotham Archery. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I'm really glad, but at the same time, it was like, man, incredibly frustrating, especially when you have to go and talk to them and say, hey, can you adjust it? I'm shooting to the right, and they'll put the, little guide slightly to the left, so then it'll even out. Um, yeah, I think that was really annoying.
You know, how did they got like annoyed and everything? It's like, damn, I gotta fix this all the time. Like,
I know. I felt bad sometimes. I'm like, dude, I've talked to you like 10 times, but I'll tell you what. There was one week that was the most frustrating was when they gave me a bow and they were like, oh wait, like, and this is like a couple of rounds in. They're like, oh wait, I think that's the one that we forgot to fix. Give them a different bow. And I'm like, God damn it, like because my arrows weren't even hitting the paper or the stand. They were just literally going off wild.
you got something in the wall, the ceiling, like everything
Yeah,
else,
I mean, it
the
literally
floor.
went everywhere except for where I wanted it to go. And that was really frustrating, and especially when they come up to you and they're like, "Hey, man," and I know they're doing their job and they're doing what they should be doing, but they'd be like, "Here's how you shoot a bow," and I'm like, "Hey, man, like this is my week 7. I know how to shoot a bow, right? Like I've gotten decent, well, maybe not decent, but okay scores. I'm not. This isn't my first time, but I don't know, it was definitely frustrating, and I think for me, not the scores that improved, but knowing what to adjust. Because in the first couple of weeks, I would have never known that my grips were like moving and all these other things. And so it's like by the end of the time, by the end of the league, I was adjusting those strings by myself, making sure that like the arrow was pointing straight. Yeah, it's just the little things that I learned how to adjust my stuff the way that it needed to be adjusted. So that was my best, like biggest takeaway, at least, even if my score didn't improve.
That's something I have to learn over time. Also, is like how to like better handle my equipment, like how to replace things, how to like properly tune them. Because like in order to get better, I have to like invest into it, like really find, really like tune up my stuff, make it better in order for me to like be better.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you do anything to your bow to like maintain it? Did they tell you that there's something you have to do?
Um, Not really. Um, I just leave it the way it is because like they adjusted a few times with like the sights, the pins, and like the strings. So once they told me that, I just like left it the way it was and like never looked back. I was like, all right, this works for now. So I'm gonna keep it that way until like something changes or alters.
Right. No, I was definitely jealous that you bought your own bow, and then eventually Sarah brought in her own bow. I will admit though, her style was a little bit different because I would see her just kind of like pull back and just release immediately, and I'm like, whoa, she didn't even aim, but yet she was hitting like way better scores than I was.
See, that's the thing. Like I always think that to myself, it's like, yo, like we're almost always aiming properly, but yet somehow like we still miss. It's like how? Like it's not we don't get the like intended targets. Like, with that in the middle, like but like our shots don't go off when we need to. But all it comes down to like our aim and like our form to like properly pull it off.
Yeah, and then the mental aspect of it, right? Because you kind of have to like be in it.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Like what for you, like, are you able to like clear your head with ease? Like when it comes to like, you gotta stay calm and relaxed, like to like when you're trying to like follow things through. Like, does it come at ease to you?
For the most part, I could tell the difference from like if I showed up and I was tired and I don't know, had a bad week or whatever, or bad weekend or whatever it is, like a bad day at work or anything, I could tell that my scores weren't as good, or it didn't come as easy for me to like adjust and like shoot and stuff like that. But if I went in and just had like a really good day or whatever, I could go in, grab the bow, and like literally I could be like jamming out to music and just like no problem shooting, right? So it's at least for me, it was, if I had a bad day, then yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle. But outside of that, it was okay. Like I could sit there and be like, all right, let me hit this target, right, and just kind of focus on that.
Yeah, 'cause, like I think for me it's like half and half. Is like, I can I can like focus right, but at the same time I can't. It's like it's just like a constant battle. It's like, okay, I'm trying to calm myself and like make sure everything's right, everything's lined up. But at the same time, that's what's causes stuff for me to do bad, because you're trying to be like perfect
Right.
every single time. So I guess like you're not properly focused.
I'll tell you what, a difficult thing was, so when we would shoot, we would do 3 arrows, right? Every round you get one, two, three arrows to shoot. Um, I think that the biggest struggle for me was sometimes like the pressure. So I'll shoot my first arrow, bam, really good shot. Second arrow, boom, really good shot. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I'm on the verge of getting 3 really good shots. Don't mess it up. And then
Yeah,
I'd mess it up.
that's that like that little overthink is like, all right, I gotta do good next time. I gotta
Yep.
do good next time.
But then it would also be the opposite. So I'd be like 2 shots like trash, right? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I know I can do better. And then that
Yeah.
third shot, bam, like almost a bullseye. Just
Yep.
because you get so lasered in, because you like, I'm like, dude, I know I can do better.
I feel like once you get that bullseye, like people get it because like you get tired of like getting bad shots, so you just like just shoot that final arrow. Like, forget it. I'm just gonna pull away, hope for the best, and then you get it. It's like, all right, like why couldn't you get that from before? Like,
Yeah,
why now?
it's such a weird mental thing, right? Because once you like relax and you kind of like just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. The brain is weird.
I remember like when we first started league, um, I was hesitant because like we had to all form that line, and then you had so many like factors playing into everything, like that buzzer, like people standing so close to each other with their equipment and like arrows going off. I was like, God damn, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was the coolest thing. Like the first day we go in and there's a ton of people and everyone's got their equipment and everyone lines up. I'm like, oh shit, this is legit. Like we're about to shoot some arrows.
Yeah.
And I'm also in the back of my mind. I'm like, how many people are gonna get shot, right?
Word.
Like that's a lot of people, and those are a lot of bows and a lot of arrows.
Like we just one line or unison, like, all right, everybody be careful, just don't elbow nobody.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Is like you only get like 2-3 feet tops of your own personal space.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like I work well under pressure, but like I don't I don't know what got into me at that league. Maybe because like it was my first time, but you know, I think just everybody just so close to each other. Maybe because it was just shooting a weapon for the first time
Right.
that close. But like I'm really not afraid of that. So like, or nervous being around it. But I don't know. I think that league just got to me. It's like you're hearing all those arrows just flying past, like
Yeah.
that's what you hear.
No, it's definitely something cool. Definitely glad I did it. And if I do another league, I'm bringing my own bow, man, because I refuse to just sit there and adjust for 10, 20, 30 minutes and still not have it like right. But that's part of showing up without a bow.
I mean, well, they announced they're having another league for the fall in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold off for that one. If they do a winter league, I'll probably do that because I do. I'm telling you, man, I'm all around the place. I'm trying to get back. I don't think I ever told you, but like I was doing like stand up comedy and like other things and the podcast, and it's just like, all right, like I need to chill. I need to chill. Like I'm doing a little bit too much, and I was like kind of burning myself out a little bit.
I
So,
do the same. I do lots of stuff, but like same time, like it's rewarding. Like
oh yeah, I mean, once you like get something done, it's like, oh shit, that was awesome. Now, if only I could get paid for every single thing that I got done, that'd be
yeah,
perfect. Instead, I have to have a real job where I have to make my money, but it's all right. I count my blessings.
I mean, I think for some people, they can like they got that mindset with like they got like a few hobbies outside of their like work life that they can tackle on at once. They try not to burn themselves out, but it's like I said, like from earlier, like it's just all about being productive. Like
Yeah.
I don't. For some people, they don't like being stale. Like they just want to like do things.
Yeah, and I've met people who, again, everyone can do whatever they want, right? And I'm not going to sit here and be judgmental or like whatever, but I just can't sit at home and just watch Netflix all day. Like that's just not me. And I've it's kind of crazy. Like I've met people way younger than me who just don't have the energy to like, I don't know, go out on the like Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, right? They're like, oh no, after work I'm just too tired. And it's like, all right, maybe they have a really intense job. I don't know, right? But if you told me to just stay in Monday through Thursday, I'd be like, nah, that's a deal breaker. Like I can't do that.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot in the past. Like especially with gaming, I used to
Mm.
like do it a lot with my friends, like late at night, and I did this all before I had any of my like hobbies. Now did the stuff I did, so it's like I don't know if it's like just growing older or just things taking a different liking. So you just swap out things for new things. So I just was like, I just don't like staying home. It's not fun.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago where it was like, man, you know what? I've been missing out on a lot, right? Because I don't know, you're only on this earth, but for so long, right? So why not try and like make the most of it and experience as much as you can?
Yeah.
No, I was
I even
gonna. Oh, go ahead.
so like I even had a conversation like with a coworker just about the fun experience. I was like, you know, I have my own things that I do to have fun and like seek out new experiences. But me as a person, like I don't do that partying stuff or the type of thing because like you're not gaining nothing from it. Like you see people doing that repetitive stuff every weekend. Like it's not new. It's not exciting. It's not fresh.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love partying. Like even today, I woke up a little hungover just because I went to the U.S. Open, and I mean, we were just having a blast at the U.S. Open, and actually ended up watching like an incredible tennis match. But if you're talking about like, hey, let's all just go to the same bar and do the same thing and do just that every day, I'd be like, no, that's not okay. But for me, it's like going with different people, building relationships, making memories, just having fun in different areas, learning something new about the city. Because I mean, you're from here, so I'm willing to bet you know the city like really well. But for me, it's like I'll go to a new neighborhood and kind of discover new things and meet new people. And I don't know, like for me, I love discovering and exploring. So for in that aspect, yeah, I'll go out and drink and check something new out all the time.
Yeah, same here. I think it's just like the adventure part.
Yeah,
It's like even my grandma once told me like she she sees me just like someone that's like an explorer. You know, you're just always trying like to find the next thing to occupy yourself with.
that's awesome, dude. Um, before I let you go though, you're being that you are a New Yorker and 9/11 is about to come up, and dude, it's been 20 years. So I'm guessing you're around. You said you were 26,
Yeah.
so you're around 6 years old. Do you remember anything about like that day?
Um, Not really. And over the past years, I've actually tried to remember stuff about it. It's really hard,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't. All I all I've known is that like when I was younger, it was like I was still in school at that time. I was in the middle of the class, and like teachers were like scrambling to get kids and everything of stuff they heard over the news. But I was just like really young and small to like remember any of that stuff.
What what part of the city were you in when that happened? What school? Where was your school?
So I was right here in Manhattan. So it was my old it was my old school. It was like a preschool, like kindergarten school, which
Hmm.
is on the same block as my grandmother's. So like I don't know,
Where in Manhattan was it?
it's on Lower East Side. It's called PS 188,
Okay.
but like they changed it so many times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in the Lower East.
Yeah, it's like right next to East River.
Gotcha. Damn. So you that was crazy close to the Twin Towers.
It was close. I don't think I saw anything up in the sky at that time. Literally, I think the only thing I remember was like I was just in the bathroom. Funny as that seems, like I was just in the bathroom at that time. That's all I could place my head is at. I
Mm.
did nothing else. It just stops after there.
Yeah. No, it was a crazy time, but yeah, it's just crazy. Time just flies, man. And again, that's part of the reason I'm always like trying to travel and learn new things and do different things and you know, some of my friends yell at me for taking too many pictures or whatever, you know, but it's like, dude, when I'm like 95 years old, if I even make it that old, I want to like I don't know. I don't know how the brain works. I don't want to like forget shit. So I'd rather take pictures and kind of document everything and just be happy that I did as much as I did, you know?
Yeah, I try to do the same, just like videos, photos, just document them, put it all into one. So like when the years go by, you know, you got something to look at and tell other people like what you've been through.
Yeah, dude. Life is long, long and short at the same time, so gotta enjoy it. But Ray, man, I honestly appreciate you coming on and just kind of talking archery with me because that was a lot of fun, man. And I'm definitely gonna go back and I just gotta decide whether I'm gonna get my own bow or not, or when I should say.
I mean, just take your time, just like save the money, let
Hmm.
let you go at your own pace. It's not a rush.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on. To be honest, these days is all right. Like, as anxious I am to like get to the next thing, it's like all right. I don't want to burn myself out, right? So
Yeah, just have fun in between. Let it go in its own pace, and eventually you get there.
hell yeah, good advice, Ray. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a podcast and interesting topics to talk about.
No, yeah, and in the future, I'm sure you'll come back on, man.
Oh yes, I would love to.